What's up? It's Juice Beats back again with another race video, and this one is the Carter County Criterium Cat 3 race. This is the second race of the day for me, back-to-back races, and we're getting started here. I got a pretty good clip in and was able to avoid a few guys, and for this race, since it is technical, I did want to stay up closer to the front. So I was trying to establish myself a little bit closer to the front on this one and try to make sure that I didn't get gapped off at certain points in this race. But you'll see as we go through this one, things do happen and it does get a little crazy. This one was definitely a faster race as well compared to the race I did just before. I believe we averaged over 26 miles an hour on this one, so 23 and a half in the Masters race, and then 26 I believe in this one, so much faster race. And yeah, with the technical turns and everything like that, that could be dangerous for the rest of the peloton in this one. So just wanted to make sure that I was staying on some good wheels and sticking towards the front in this one and trying not to brake as much going around the turns, because that can take a toll on you throughout the race as well if you're braking a little bit and having to punch it out of certain turns. If you're able to go around the turns without having to brake, you can carry a lot of momentum and not have to pedal as hard coming out of those turns. So that's what I was trying to do in this one, just trying to be efficient and make sure that I did stay up to the front here. I have no teammates in this race as well, so I'm, racing by myself, trying to make sure I can pick out a few guys that I can stay behind. A friend of mine, Charles, is in this race. He's wearing, I believe, an orange kit. And then Tyler, who's with Hub Cycling, is also in this race as well. And Dawson from Nashville Local is in this race. Those were the few guys that I knew personally, I guess, before the race, or had raced against before. I didn't really recognize many of the other guys in the race, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. As long as I'm racing my race and doing what I need to do, I can make it out of the race here. All right, so here's a point where I'm not really liking my position. I am, I think I'm still, I guess I'm sitting towards the back. There's a few guys that looks like that have been gapped off. And yeah, I'm sitting towards the back, and I think I may have realized it at this point, and I may have looked behind and checked it out to see where I was. So here on this back stretch, this is crosswind section, and I'm gonna move up on the sheltered side and making a nice move up to the front. I passed up, basically the entire peloton, and now I'm sitting fifth wheel here, and they're pushing it out front. So I don't think I saw that move happening, but just luckily I made the move when it was going, and I was able to jump up on it and stay up with there. That's kind of the I guess I say the race sense that we have in certain races like this. Having a little bit of urgency and a little bit of race sense can go a long way in certain races like this. But yeah, was able to jump on that. I think we got, I was going to say we got maybe a tiny gap, but it wasn't much. It strung out the peloton though, and that's that fiery punch there out front is I think what they wanted to do. I believe that might be Skyline. I'm not sure. I'm terrible with the jerseys at the moment, and plus I am not in my normal studio, so I'm not able to see exactly who was out there out front for this one. But gotta follow the moves early on in this race. Like I said, I think I said it in my other video for the Masters race, when the guys were pumping out front and attacking the peloton, I didn't have that feeling that they were going to get away. Basically, like I felt like they were just attacking just to keep things fast, but they weren't like trying to get away. In this one, it felt a little bit different. the guys out front were definitely trying to keep it fast, but they were also trying to break up the peloton. So this one, it felt a little bit different. Not sure if they were going to get away on this one, but it definitely did feel like they were trying to string things out and break up the peloton and you know, basically come down to a smaller selection there towards the end. All right, so here we are, lap 14, and I've been chilling on the back, and I actually talked to a couple guys after the race about this, how I was chilling on the back. It didn't feel all that surgy back there for a while during the race. Like, we were just kind of moving. I would say that, you know, part of this race was fairly boring. We were obviously moving pretty well together, but yeah, with the early stuff that happened during the race, the getting strung out, stuff like that, it didn't really happen that often or very much until late in the race. So kind of this middle portion of the race, we didn't really have that same feeling of the stretched out and surgy, you know, super fast pace or anything like that. Like right here going into 16 laps, we're basically single file, but we're not like pushing it extra hard here. Like I'm not going over 30 miles an hour there, which tells me that, you know, it's fast, but it's not, you know, pushing fast, if that makes sense to you guys. And that's just how it kind of was for, you know, most of this race. All right, so this is not too much further in the race. We're at lap 16, and I see Charles jump out to the front here, and I almost yell out to him at this point in the race. I was about to yell at him, you know, get off the front. He's a bigger guy like me, and he doesn't need to be out there leading the charge and leading the pack at this point. He's doing a good job of stringing us out a little bit here, but yeah, definitely don't need to be wasting those bullets this, you know, early in the race. We're not even halfway through quite yet. We're almost there, but yeah, we don't need to be us big guys don't need to be out there out front leading the charge here at all. I think he finally does kind of yeah, he pulls off right here a little bit, pulls off the front. Yeah, just don't need to be using those matches early on in this race. Maybe towards the end of the race, if you know, you've got a good group out front with you and you can rotate a little bit, but yeah, definitely not in the middle of the race when these guys are kind of baiting you a little bit and trying to get you to use up some of that energy because they got teammates that can help them later on in the race here. Here we go, a couple laps later, and I catch up to him, and this is what.
Getting ready to get on foot. You know what? I was getting ready to get on foot. Oh, well, hopefully we get in the front today. Get anyone to ride.
I was just telling him, I was getting ready to tell him to get off the front and cut it out, basically. But then at this point, like I think we start to stretch it out even more. How the guys on the front are pushing it pretty hard, and they're taking us a little bit faster. You can see the speeds, you know, 29-30 here on this back stretch, which means they're pushing it out a little bit more here. Charles is looking like he's getting a little bit gapped off there at the back, and that could be because, you know, he might have, you know, lost a few matches there being out there on the front, and that's what I was trying to tell him. You know, don't use your matches this early in this race. And I definitely don't. I know because I did the race just before this, I definitely don't have all the matches that I did or that I should have for this race, but I was trying to conserve as well. And you can see things are starting to get a little bit more strung out a little bit here on lap 19. We're starting to get a little bit faster around things, so I'm having to push out a lot more watts than I would like to, I guess, at this point. And yeah, you can see gaps are starting to form, so I've got to get on my horse and do a little bit better job of sticking on those back wheels there. I'm doing over 900 watts there on this backstretch trying to catch up. Yeah, we're doing 31, but I do connect here, so. But you see this guy's, he's having trouble as well connecting on that back wheel though. But I felt like once I could connect, I was fine. Like I said earlier, it wasn't super surgy like if I was just hanging on the back. Now, obviously, if I let go a little bit and I let that gap go, then it was going to be tough. But if I was just hanging on the back, then it wasn't super surgy like it can be in some, other races or something like that. So just wanted to make sure that, I was staying close to the front, and he's letting a little gap here go. So I'm going to have to go around him, and I'm going to have to put out another match here to get back on the back. Luckily, it looks like there was a slight lull right there. Looks like some guys were kind of coasting a little bit, so there was a little bit of a lull. But you can see what happens as soon as they start to punch out on this back stretch here. We've got guys in the back there that are gapped off, and they might be done. I'm not sure if they catch up here or not, but yeah, I'm trying to move myself up to a better position here as well, if I can, because that would be the best bet for me. Oh, there's Charles. He made it back on, so he must have made a big push there to get back onto my wheel. But you can see, yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher to stick on there, just the way that things are getting strung out, and the guys on the front are pushing it out there. Here we are, lap 22. Gaps are forming everywhere. You can see there's a big gap up there too. I believe that's either 6 or 7 guys out front there. So gaps all over the place. And I'm not willing to go after it quite yet in this race, but I definitely feel that sense of urgency. Like at this point, we need to go after it. And we've got some guys here, a pretty good group forming right at this point in the race. So I'm going to rest up a little bit here, and hopefully these guys have the motivation to try to catch back up to the front group there. That was my mentality. I knew that I wasn't going to do it all by myself at this point, so I needed to make sure these guys were pretty motivated. It seemed like they were. Like when I got onto their wheel, it seemed like they were all trying to get back up there. Most of us were pretty tired, I think, at this point. I know I was, because I'd already done the race earlier in the day, but I wanted to I definitely wanted to be in this one too, so I didn't want to get left behind at this point in the race. So we've got our work cut out for us. They're not too much further. I mean, 5-6 seconds maybe. But yeah, that gap right there is tough, and especially on this technical course, if we're not going if we're not going faster than that front group, we're not going to catch up to them. But we definitely need to push it a little bit more here. I'm trying to conserve a little bit of energy until I need to rotate in this rotation here, and start utilizing my power and my strength on this course. Charles is still hanging on there. I don't know where he came from. I just looked back there. Came out of nowhere, it looked like. He's still kind of hanging on there on the back. I'm still kind of hanging on there on the back as well. Now we've got another gap forming on this back, or this is not the back stretch, but the second to last turn there. We definitely need to turn this. The peloton's not really getting away at this point, but I remember the feeling of, oh my gosh, we're not going to catch them if we don't go. And so I'm looking forward. I'm trying to make sure that these guys are pushing hard. This guy, it looks like he was losing some steam, and now I've got to put out a little bit to get back to my original second group here. I'm putting out a lot of power to get back to them. It was a tough feeling at this point in the race too, because utilizing the matches in the first race and then jumping into this one and having to utilize more matches earlier in this race like this. It was definitely, it felt like it was almost insurmountable at one point, but I think and then I forgot about that. So I'm not sure who the guy was, but he ran into the back of Tyler of Hub Cycling. He ran into the back of his wheel, and their handlebars got caught up in his wheel or something like that, and ended up taking him out. And we're within like only a few laps to go in this race, so they weren't able to jump back in at this point. I think the free laps were already over. I think it's 8 laps to go when the free laps are over, and we're within that at this point. So yeah, they ended up, getting tangled up and taken out. That took a few out of the of that front group there, and yeah, we've got to push hard to make our way back up there. We've got to get back up to them. They're still there. They haven't really gone anywhere. It's still sitting there like 5-6 seconds, I think. And these guys are I think they're doing a pretty good job of actually pushing it, and possibly that crash there may have slowed them down just slightly and helped us out a little bit too. But here at this point, like I could see we were kind of slowing down just a little bit, and we needed to be pushing over 30 there at this point in the race. So this rider from the Mac team is going to get on the front. I'm going to get right up on his wheel, and hopefully he's pushing hard enough that we're going to be able to catch up to them. But I think he's pretty tired as well, because I know he was off the front a few times earlier on in the race, putting in some attacks. So he may be a little bit more tired than he realizes, or that we realized at this point in the race. So I'm following him, but then, yeah, I felt like we were going still a little bit too slow. So I'm going to push out as much as I can here. We've got to get over 30 miles an hour if we're going to be able to catch them. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. I wasn't trying to leave my group. I was actually just trying to, lead them out here. And I may have pushed it a little bit too hard initially, because I kind of gapped them. But I wasn't going to look back at this point either. So, and I could see that we were a bit, at least I was closing in at this point in the race. So I didn't want to get left behind. If they get left behind, that's it. That's all on them. But I didn't want to get left behind, so I was trying my best to catch up here. And yeah, I gapped them off a little bit. It looks like they are kind of closing in though as well. So they did a good job of closing in on me. And I did my best to close in on the main peloton here, and yeah, made it. It only took a few laps or whatever, and like I said, it did feel like it was an eternity almost out there that we were trying to catch up to the peloton out front. But we finally was able to kind of connect here and get back on with them within the last few laps of the race at this point. So here we go. This is 5 laps to go, and I'm still with that front group. A couple of those guys that I was riding with, they finally caught up to me in the back. We've been riding, on the back. I've been trying to catch my breath and relax a little bit on the back of this group here and letting these guys take me up. What I'm feeling, I guess, at this point is with 5 laps to go, is I think I'm in decent position. I would much rather be in maybe like 4th or 5th wheel. And there goes the Mac guy. He's back on it again, out there out front, pushing the pace again. I don't know if I would have done that after having to catch up to the rest of the peloton at this point in the race. But yeah, he's got a whole nother ball of energy at this point in the race, and he's gonna push him out. But yeah, after that big dig and all that stuff, I wasn't gonna be brave enough to try to attack the main peloton at this point in the race. And of course, I lose my front camera within this, 4 laps to go. I lose my front camera, and yeah, you can't really see anything, obviously, because there's nobody behind me at this point in the race. I think they've already pulled some guys, and yeah, we're the last group on the course. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit at this point because there's really nothing you can see, and I can't really commentate on what's going on because I can't see anything. All right, let's see what I can do here. This is going into the final lap. I've just passed one of the riders here. So we do have somebody behind me here at this point. I think I'm sitting like maybe 8th or 9th. I can't remember how many guys were out front. I have to go back and count how many were in that group at this point. But yeah, I'm hoping that I can make a move here on this backstretch in the crosswind and try to make up a few spots. But yeah, at this point, like I know, I've put in a few digs, I've put in a few matches throughout this race, so I just need to, so I'm passing some guys here at the end. Youngblood's rider there. I believe that's the Mac rider right behind me there. Yeah, so I'm passing a few guys here at the end. Didn't quite have like a big sprint at this point, but I did pass a few guys. I believe the Youngbloods rider ended up just in front of me going into the finish line, and I thought I had 6, but the official score the official standings ended up being me. I got 7th, so I was just out of points on this one. Fine, whatever. But I think it's not too bad out of this race. I think there was like 25 to 30 riders or something like that. So one of the bigger races in here. And to come off of a second place in the Masters and then jump in here and get a 7th place in a much faster race and being tired and everything, I felt, pretty good about everything there. I wanted to get on the podium, but yeah, obviously, they had other plans, but it's all good. But it was a good race with everybody. Good atmosphere out there at the Carter County Crit. I really like this parking lot. I like the technical aspect of it. It was pretty cool. But anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you know when I post videos. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.